Baba, ngicela ukuza nami ngizophuza itiye ba. Ngicela ukuza ngizophuza itiye na. Woza baba.
Former President Jacob Zuma once again appeared inside the court today. For what reason? Well, we're going to find that just in a bit. But before that, guys, I have a question which I would like you also to ask yourself. Why all this right now? Why you have to appear inside the court when the country is having serious problems as a crisis, as you all know? Is it that former President Jacob Zuma is taking advantage of South African courts? Is it possible that former President Jacob Zuma is abusing the South African constitution? Or is it his right and is trying to do what it is within his right in order for him to feel more safe with the South African justice? Well, that is what we're going to discuss in this video. But before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Dopsy Nyembe, and welcome to Cool Bears. Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time to be here, do as always, give me that thumbs up, show me some love, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so, settle down, have your cup of tea, let's have a conversation as we get to give you our analytics about this trending matter that happened today in the Joburg High Court, of course. So we get to see former President Jacob Zuma appear inside the court in the date which we all know that this is the day he's supposed to be appearing inside the court. And this time he had to come physically because he's the one who's prosecuting the current President of Republic, Cyril Ramaphosa. And him sitting inside the court, as we get to see there, he's supposed not to be alone, because him is kind of like the state, and President Ramaphosa is the accused. So in other way, President Ramaphosa is supposed to be there as well. If we get to see Jacob Zuma, we get to see also President Ramaphosa. But you will ask yourself a question to know why now, if that is the case, why President Ramaphosa is not there. Well, it is very simple. Last week, we made a video for you. We get to tell you what happened also inside the court, as President Ramaphosa had to send his legal representative to go and represent him, asking the court in what they call emergent application, where the President Ramaphosa, they have to dispute about this his presence being appearing inside the court today on this on the 19th of this month. So President Ramaphosa, with his legal lawyers, they went inside the court and they had to try to fight so that they can explain the court that President Ramaphosa is the wrong person to be standing inside the court here. President Ramaphosa, these allegations or the accused that they are being put against him, they are the false and wrong accusation. So he don't deserve to come and appear inside the court against the former President Jacob Zuma. And as they were trying to explain all this to the court, they had to remind the court that it's not President Ramaphosa who's supposed to be following up the case of the state lawyer and the journalist on which former President Jacob Zuma have come to bring as a problem, saying that way is supposed to be protected by President Cyril Ramaphosa, he did not do so. So therefore, that is the one of the motivation that lead former President Jacob Zuma to come to court. And now it was the turn of President Ramaphosa, as President of a Republic, to appear inside the court or not. So when it comes on the side of President Ramaphosa, he understood that this is not just a simple legal affairs. Instead, this is something very serious, because if he have to accept and come and appear inside the court, then it will make him look like he did not understand the trap and the game that Jacob Zuma is up to. So Ramaphosa have to send his legal representative to come inside the court and try to defend him, so that he can be able to avoid to appear inside the court on this day of 19th of January. Because if he have to appear inside the court, well, the step aside of the ANC policies, it was gonna catch him. So as the current president of the ANC, current president of the Republic of South Africa, the only things he have to do, if he have to remain, if he really want to remain in power and be able to represent the ANC in upcoming general election in 2024, the only things he have to do is to try by all means to avoid the for his presence appearing inside the court. And we also last week how the court granted him that agent application, and they give it to him. It was a very big relief, and we get to see how the president himself even welcomed the court's judgment, because it works in his favor. But on other sides of Jacob Zuma Foundation, the game, it was not over. So they insisted, saying that President Ramaphosa will have to appear inside the court, regardless of what they had bring as a final judgment in his agent application. President Ramaphosa is still someone who have to appear inside the court, because all the charges against him, they are still available. Let's get to listen to what the spokesperson of Jacob Zuma Foundation had said last week, before I get to discuss with you what happened today inside the court.
Has been busy without no headway. So he now wants the court to be in the same space of shying away from holding him accountable. This is absurd. Will you accept the outcome? Only if it's lawful. But if it's a cooked outcome, we will not accept. We will accept an outcome that is in line with the Constitution. What we have here is a situation where we're dealing with a motion court. We're dealing with a civil court that is asked to overturn something that is supposed to be happening in a criminal court. That alone should be an anomaly. You as leaders should be asking, how is it possible that a civil court can overturn something that is in the timetable of the criminal court? This is absurd. So any outcome here that does not fit the Constitution will definitely not be accepted.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, that was last week, after the judge have decided to grant the President Cyril Ramaphosa the favor to not appear inside the court today. And that was the former President Jacob Zuma spokesperson, Mr. Manye, who have to come and remind President Ramaphosa that all the charges which was against him still exist. And we will have to wait to hear from the court as they will have to decide. Now, today, it is a date, or should I say a day, which was announced, which was set by the court for President Cyril Ramaphosa to appear inside the court as the accused. And the prosecutor should also appear inside the court, and here we're talking about former President Jacob Zuma. So in other way, today we're supposed to having two members of the ANC Of course, they usually meet at the ANC conference and ANC different activities in a very friendly way of them talking, laughing and everything. But today, they are supposed to meet as two enemies, one accusing another, and one have to defend themselves. That unfortunately did not happen, because the court last week had given the President of Republic, Cyril Ramaphosa, that privilege to not appear inside the court. So we get to see former President Jacob Zuma arriving inside the court, and this time we get to notice that among his legal representative, we're talking about Advocate Ramaphosa. He was joined this time by the Advocate Zandile Mhlolo. We all know that Zandile Mhlolo, she's one of she's representing actually one of the Senzo Meyiwa accused inside the court. The suspected Senzo Meyiwa, I mean to say, guys. And she had to join the team of Ramaphosa. Who called her? How did she get there? That's something that we'll have to find as time goes in the future. But guys, what I'm trying to say by all this is that now that the president appeared inside the court, the former president Jacob Zuma, the court postponed the matter to the 22nd of May because they're still await for the court to also decide whether President Ramaphosa will have to appear inside the court about this accusation or not. And that will take place on the 17th of May. Because when you get to listen to Advocate Ramaphosa, it was very clear to tell the court that we can't say much for now if the accused is not here. Because we need to go ahead and tell the reason why we're here. If they're accused, they are sitting somewhere inside this wall. But if they are not there, which means it's going to be very hard for us to go ahead and tell the reason why we're here. So that is how the court have to look on what is on pending, what could be the reasons why the President Cyril Ramaphosa, he was not there. And then they tell them that, okay, fine, here's another date. So on May 17th, if it happened that the court finally decides for President Ramaphosa to come and appear inside the court, which means on May 22, President Ramaphosa will have to appear inside the court. That is how they had planned it so far. But guys, after this event or this court session adjourned, we came outside the court. They had to question again the Jacob Zuma spokesperson, Mr. Mani. He had to explain this, which I would like you guys to watch first before I get to comment more.
What is the former president's view on the unprecedented nature of a former president taking a sitting president to court and then both of them still being members of the same political party?
I think this just shows it's a very good thing. It just shows that in South Africa, rule of law is supreme. You don't say just because it's my friend, just because it's my comrade, and therefore rule of law must take second place. In South Africa, we have a constitutional democracy, supremacy of the constitution. Everybody is equal before the law. So this is just a display of that the fact that you are a president does not excuse you from being subject to legal processes.
Finally, then, do you still have full confidence in the arguments that you'll present in Part B of that hearing, considering some of the leanings of the judge and what was written in the order regarding the strength of the case being brought here?
The interdict case was not about the merits, so I don't know where you get what you are saying in terms of leanings. Merits were not dealt with, and all of that, and the NPA must still make a submission and clarify a few things and all of that. So all of that is still going to happen, and these are the things that His Excellency President Zuma took into account before getting to this stage. So we're very confident that we will cross that hurdle with ease.
The question was asked to him, just a very simple question to know. How do you feel about a former president taking his colleague or comrade from the same political party, which is the ANC, obviously, to court? What are your impression about this? And you can tell that is more satisfied with the outcome of the court. And he called this as a normal procedure of democracy, where democracy reign. This should be happening. And this is the same man who's been twittering all this time, saying that, condemning the previous judgment which happened last week when President Ramaphosa was granted this chance of not appearing inside the court. And he had to condemn the judgment, saying that no one is above the law, regardless of who you are. If you have some matters, if you have some affair to appear inside the court, you should go and do so. That sounds very interesting. Now today, it was very straightforward to say that this is how it's supposed to be. No one is above the law. There's no friends when it comes to court affairs. You should not come and say that because we are both from the same political parties, then I should forgive you. But this is just a language which I get to say, it's all about politician talking. What about me and you? When we get to look at this, do we have to sit in the same way? No, guys. In our previous video, when we discussed about this matter, I told you, the problem is very simple. The thing is that Jacob Zuma is a hurt man, a disappointed man. He did not mean or wanted to leave the office as a president of the republic, of course. But people who surrounded him, that the one who went to him and tell him sweet things, try to convince him, no, Mr. President, for the sake of our democracy, just retire, sit down, we're gonna look after you, we're gonna follow up your matters and everything. While they were busy trying to convince Jacob Zuma, no one get the courage to tell Jacob Zuma that there is a possibility of you being sued inside the court. There is a possibility of you going to jail the moment you resign from the office. No one told him so. So as Jacob Zuma was leaving the office, guys, he was actually expecting to have this kind of so-called protection, especially when you go to other African countries where there's a detectors, where there is like a president who have committed a crime against humanity. These presidents, when they are at their last moment of their reign, when they are about to be chased out of the power in a very strange way that it can either end up killing them or being so inside the court, they usually negotiate with the preceders, with someone who will come and take over. They'll be like, okay, fine, I'm willing to leave the power. What are you suggesting? How are you going to protect me? That is how you get to see this one from South Sudan, Omar Bashir, if I'm not mistaken. And many more detectors, Blaise Leblé from Burkina Faso. And who else? Blaise Compaoré from Burkina Faso, and this one Abdoulaye from Senegal. All these presidents, they did negotiate. And when they do negotiate, it is either they can protect them within their countries, or they can try to negotiate with other country, so that if they are not safe in their country, they can flee to another country, and that country will protect them. And now, since here we are in South Africa, where democracy reigns, Jacob Zuma did not need to run the country. He was ready to face anyone inside the court. Of course, with the help of the ANC. But the moment he leaves the office and the DA start following him up inside the court, he looked aside, he could not see anyone. Those who used to call him, calling him Your Excellency, they disappeared. So he find himself alone. And he have to start facing humiliation. How could it be possible that you having a conversation with a journalist through an interview, and the journalists have to take your conversation behind the scene camera to go and give it to a state advocate, so that the state advocate will use it against you inside the court? Now you get to understand where the anger of Jacob Zuma came from. And apparently, according to him, when all this was happening, President Ramaphosa is supposed to be protecting him as the head of the state. And Ramaphosa did not do so. So that is the anger. And now when you get to look within the ANC, all the conflict with this ANC, which is now divided, of some members of the ANC who are being suspended, they are trying to fight those who are in power, such as Gwede Mantashe, Paul Mashatile, you know, so many of them, those who are now leading the ANC, they are against those who are not leading the ANC. So their mission, they are trying to turn things around. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Now, the only opportunity they're having right now is to use someone like a Jacob Zuma, so that he can bring Ramaphosa inside the court. Once Ramaphosa appear inside the court, they'll go back to the ANC policies of a step aside, saying that, okay, Mr. President, here there is some allegations against you. Someone bring you inside the court. You had appear inside the court have said this. So, for that reason, you need to step aside. Now, the question is to know, is President Ramaphosa willing to do so? That's the thing. Is President Ramaphosa willing to do so? Which I doubt. Guys, now tell me something. All this drama, all these things is happening when the country is facing the load shedding. A very serious load shedding, stage 6. Last December, I made a video telling you that according to my analytics and the information that I have in my possession, I'm afraid to say that this load shedding will even get worse to where it is now. And now we're still in January. How many days do we have already? 19 days. Out of that 19 days, go and check how many hours of load shedding. I mean, let's check how many hours do we have within 19 days. Now, go and calculate how many hours did you had of load shedding. Then you'll come back to me and tell me if this have ever happened before in this country. So, there is a serious problem here. And this problem concerns everyone, including the both president, whether it's the current president or former president. It includes everyone. And this problem needs a solution right now. If there is no solution, I'm afraid to say that this country will end up becoming a nightmare for many people who are living inside it. Now, instead of trying to find the solution, whether you are from the majority party, whether you are from opposition party, whether you are alliance, you're supposed to be coming together and find out a solution, because this problem affects everyone. That is not the case. That is not apparently that is not even a priority. Instead, we get to see some dramas inside the court between the two presidents. And the two presidents who are coming from one political party, one family. So, South African, they are sitting load shedding while they are watching the drama happening inside the court. Yep. There is not that pity of saying that, okay, no matter what could be our differences, let's put it aside and settle this problem of load shedding. Because this load shedding is affecting everyone, including small business. Look at this. This is a man, a farmer, who decides to go and sue the ANC government because of the load shedding schedule. As we can see in the picture, this man, all his chicken die. We're talking about more than 40,000 chicken, which is in the value of more than 2 million rand. From the Northwest, this man, this farmer, decided to sue the ANC government. Now, when this happened, can you have an idea of how many people are losing their job already? Beside him, do you know how many small business right now they are stuck? Because remember, this small business, they have to pay rent. They have to pay the rent from where they are also living, school fees for their children, provide, and everything. Imagine like someone who have a salon. How are you going to work, use your machine to cut the hair if you don't have electricity? How are you going even to buy the generator if you don't even have enough money? So guys, whether we like it or not, we are stuck somewhere, and all we need right now, it is a solution. And not this kind of drama that we're getting to see inside the court right now. Or this kind of drama that we're getting to see in the ANC. Right now is the time where we're supposed to see the current president approaching the former president Jacob Zuma. Because whether we like it or not, the load shedding did not start today. Now, this load shedding was there even the time of Jacob Zuma. But if we have to compare, Jacob Zuma time was much better than where we are right now. So what we expecting to see from the president of the Republic is first to have that humble heart. Go to Jacob Zuma as a former president of the Republic. Talk to him and ask him, my brother, during your time, you manage at least this load shedding until to a certain percentage. What are your secrets? What were your strategies? Did you apply so that this load shedding, it must not reach to this level? If you did this, do you think that Jacob Zuma will refuse to help you? And here I'm talking about to those who want who keep on asking us that no, we need a solution. Well, one of the solution, this one is one of the solution, because we get to see it even in a big developed country, even in the United States of America or France, all those big countries. You get to see Barack Obama approaching Bill Clinton, or you get to see Donald Trump approaching someone else, a former president. They sit down. When you face this crisis, what did you do? They share ideas. Now go to President of the Republic, President Ramaphosa. Ask him, Your Excellency, since you've been in power, how many times have you tried to approach former President Jacob Zuma and discuss with him about this load shedding crisis. Let's get to hear the answer. Because obviously you tell that they never even approach each other because they are having inside conflict. They don't talk to each other. They have considered themselves like two enemies. One thinking that you pushed me to move out from power. You pushed me aside so that you come and sit over. Another one is like, okay, no, you are doing this because you don't want me also to finish my mandate. That's what we get to see. So one of the solution, these two presidents, they need to sit down and discuss about this problem. And President Ramaphosa should not listen to people that are surrounding him. Because these same people that are surrounding President Ramaphosa, they are the same people who used to surround former President Jacob Zuma. They used to praise him. They used to call him Your Excellency. And they used to listen to them until when they lead him in the wrongdoing. So President Ramaphosa, if he wants to avoid the same mistake, he must not keep on listening to these people. Because I always say in my analytics that these people are surrounding, whether it is in the cabinet, whether it is in the ANC, these people are surrounding President Ramaphosa. There are people who are there trying to protect their post. Isn't it we have some everlasting life ministers who are very powerful? They never go anywhere. They've been there since Thabo Mbeki. All the government that are there is like it is a must for them to be nominated. It's like if you don't nominate them, which means you're not going to be the president. The most powerful ministers, if you complain them being in this sector, they'll remove them and put them to another ministry. So these are the same people, like whenever they see that their job are being put at risk, they'll try to do anything by all means to protect their job. So this kind of ministers, this kind of people, when you are being surrounded by them, you must be careful. You must be careful because they'll keep on telling you, flatting you, telling you sweet words, even when you're doing something wrong. And tomorrow when things get worse for you, they'll abandon you just as they did with other former presidents in this country. South African people need a solution about the load shedding. Because this load shedding, guys, it is becoming kind of like a nightmare. You know, and I can just tell that the day when this load shedding will finish, people will be surprised. Like this man here. This man, where is he? Can someone at least call this man for us so that he can come and tell us how was life in the other world of dead people? Because I believe in the coffin where he was, there were also a load shedding inside there. All the time they put him inside that coffin from the mortuary to that church. The guy was experiencing a serious load shedding. And maybe it was kind of like, okay, what if I'm gone for real? Until they open the coffin. Look, see the look on his face. See the look on his face. Ah, guys, you have not seen it all. And see on the other side, the Mulungu. See how Mulungu is looking at Pastor Lukao. This Mulungu is looking at this so-called pastor. Is like, dude, what are you trying to do? Well, guys, that was funny, isn't it? But the point I'm trying to make here is that the day this load shedding problem will be solved, I believe this is the look South Africans will have on their faces. Yo, so this is the surprise South African will have on their faces when we finally get to see the light coming back 24 hours by 24 hours. And obviously, you deserve it. Where there is energy, all activities will work properly. Where there is no energy in the world of today, trust me, trust me, no one even is gonna want to leave or do anything in that place. Because how will investors come and invest their money where they know that there is no energy? Because where there is no energy, you invest, they chop your money. You're not gonna get your money back. Less even your profit, you're not gonna get it. So I hope this problem can be solved anytime soon. And instead of us sitting here experiencing or watching this kind of dramas between the two presidents, they should sit down and find a solution for this Eskom load shedding. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. And as you all know that this is what we do in this channel time to time. We get to look on the daily trending news and come up with a topic to discuss and give you our best analytics. So it is for that reason we encourage you to always come and watch our videos. If you have not subscribed to the channel, give me your thumbs up. I'll really do appreciate. And subscribe to the channel. I'll also really do appreciate that. But for now, continue to be yourself, be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon. Ciao, ciao.